अरे नारे नारे ना जरा सा घूम लूं मैं अरे नारे नारे.
Hello people from YouTube. I'm going to make this video here to encourage people to go out and reveal to the world this good news of the fact that Obama is the Antichrist, and that he is announced by the number 666, which was drawn in the Illinois lottery. It was drawn the day after his election, and it was not drawn on the day of his election, and the day after his election doesn't have a direct connection with the election. It's separate. One day he gets elected, to the next day the Illinois lottery draws 666. But where it gets extremely powerful, significant, where the meaning is strong, is when you look at what happened then. A newspaper article comes out. When they've written the article, they need to write the article, which can take whatever time it takes, because they have to do field work, research. First, when you make an article, for example, if there's a car accident someplace, you have to go to the place, take pictures. An article is a complicated thing because you have to get the pictures, you have to interview some people. Like, it's a basic job you have to do. For example, a car accident, you have to go to see the sheriff, you have to interview him. Then you have to interview the victims or the families of the victims. This is typical, this is standard procedure. Then a reporter has to do that work, and he can spend some time there. And obviously he has to spend some time getting there, then he has to spend some time coming back. Reporters can do one job a day, because they take a lot of time to get over there. Sometimes they have 1 or 2 hours driving if they're working in a big area, and 1 or 2 hours to come back. Then they go to work. Maybe they have lunch in between. People have to eat too, and maybe they're going to sleep a little bit. Then typically a reporter will get to work in the evening. He'll go do his field work in the daytime, daylight, unless there's some emergency, but most of the time that's how they do it. Then they have this evening period, which is when they have to meet the deadline, because the newspapers have to close down to send all the articles to the press, and the press prints, the pressing house prints it. So you have to understand exactly what it means to get a news story like Obama's election to the press, because reporters write their articles in the evening, between, let's say, 6 o'clock in the evening until midnight. That's 6 hours when they do their work. Of they take the video cassettes and they view all the cassettes, they listen to the audio. Then if they have audios, for example, the sheriff talking about a car accident, then they have to listen to it, and then they have to write down his words. They probably write down the whole cassette, and then they choose about what they've written. Amidst what they've written, what they're going to keep. They can say, okay, well, this is a proof, you know, for the legal proof for the accident, or whatever the sheriff said, for example. This is just an example. It could be talking about any subject. But people have to understand this, because if you're going to announce the apocalypse, you better know what you're talking about. That's why I'm telling people exactly how you've got to analyze the lottery result and the election, and when it came to press. Because then you'll understand that we're talking about the apocalypse here. And we're talking about the Antichrist. I'm going to go straight to the point now. Obama, if we're talking about a car accident, Obama's election, which is, let's say, the car accident, it didn't happen in the morning. It happened at 8 o'clock. The election was closed. He was named the winner at 8 o'clock at night. 8 o'clock news, 7 o'clock news, Obama is the winner. The reporters didn't run back to the newspaper and then start typing and then put it for press for midnight. They didn't do that. They had reporters all over this story. The reporters were all over. They weren't in the newsroom. All the reporters were out there in the parties where they were celebrating Obama's victory. They were with Obama. Obama at 8 o'clock. He didn't go to sleep. He was up all night partying. He was up partying till 2 o'clock in the morning. The reporters were all over there, and they were on the street interviewing people. Hi, are you happy? The news started at 8 o'clock. So the news went on all night. They were interviewing people in London and in Tokyo, everywhere. What do you think about Obama? All of this news was coming in like a Niagara Fall. So what happened was, okay, next day the newspapers came out. Okay, there were a couple of articles. Okay, Obama was elected, but it wasn't the whole newspaper was full of it, because the newspapers after his election, they made newspapers where you had like 20 pages. 20 pages. They made total Obama editions with 20 pages of Obama. It was like Obama had 80% of each page, and it was 20 pages. It's just a newspaper, which was an Obama newspaper. I'll tell you, it was an abomination, because it was not next day. The reporters went to the newsroom, and that day they didn't go out for any field work, for any car accidents and anything. They were at the newspaper all day from morning till midnight, and they were listening to the cassettes, and they were reading what the other newspapers, they were reading whatever was out there, and then they were putting in their own material and the interviews and the photos of Obama and this and that. And it was just, you know, these guys were just stacked with information which they were trying to stuff into this newspaper. So these guys were doing, it was like stuffing a turkey. These guys were there, you know, and they had their story, they had their winner, they had their Superman, first black president, he was this, he was that, and he was so fantastic because he was part Muslim, you know, hey, you know, we're going to get together with the Muslims. This guy's going to get us out of this Muslim problem. He was part Jewish, his cousin is a rabbi, a fake anti-Semitic black, who claims to be a rabbi. He's not a rabbi at all. His brother is a real Jew. I mean, he was everything. He's Christian, he was a communist, he's a radical, he's a Reverend Wright is a black nationalist. You know, this was great stuff. I mean, these guys could just make stories all the time. It was easy. So that was next day. So he was elected, and then 24 hours later, you had these guys who were in their newsrooms, you know, with documents up to here, material, and they were just stuffing this into the newspaper. It was easy. This was a boulevard, you know, just boom, 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 you know, stuff it. They knew they'd sell paper. These guys were selling paper. Then 8 o'clock, the lottery drew 666. So these reporters were there. What are you calling me for? The lottery drew 666. Okay, big deal. What? 666? Today is Obama's day. Today is Obama's victory day. I'm writing here on the newspaper. I am making him the Superman. I'm making Superman, and then you're bringing this Krypton. This 666 will kill him. What am I supposed to do? And so the guy said, you print it, boy, you know, you're paid to print it. You print it. It's 666, you print it. So I think I've explained well now. You guys, you've got the information. On the newspaper that day, you had the full 100% newspapers, 20 pages, compact about Obama. But in the corner, there's a lottery draw, 666. And that's like that was just like, you know, David and Goliath, you know. Here's the big David, that's little Goliath. A bomb. Dead. Okay, spread this, people. This is important. We got to go do this.